Hey guys, welcome to section C. We've got a lot more landforms to talk about today. So we're going to talk about landforms that are actually formed by erosion and deposition. We're going to talk a little more about erosion and deposition in a later chapter, but for now, you just need to understand that erosion is the movement of particles of the earth, okay? So rock, soil, dust, things like that, they get carried away by things like wind, water, and gravity. This is actually a picture I took this summer also. I took lots of pictures for you guys this summer. You can kind of imagine water running through these funny looking channels, right? So this was just a normal hillside. The water ran through and it carried some of the sediment away from it, okay? Remember, sediment is just those particles of the erosion. Well, that sediment has to go somewhere, and you can kind of see these piles down here on the bottom. That land used to be up in these little channels up here, okay? So when the sediment erodes, it moves away, and then we have deposition, and that's also called sedimentation. That's when the sediment is deposited somewhere else, okay? So this process results in all kinds of crazy landforms, okay? So let's talk about some erosional landforms first. So these are landforms caused by sediment being carried away somewhere else, okay? We've got mountains that are formed this way. Erosional mountains are carved out of plateaus by erosion, okay? And you can follow in the book, page 166, shows this area called Monument Valley, which I've also been to. I'm not sharing that picture with you. And you've got this kind of the remnants of a plateau. It makes this funky looking shaped mountain because part of the plateau has been eroded away. Mesas are another example, and it's just kind of a flat topped hill, different than a plateau, but the flat top of the hill kind of erodes away. Buttes are just smaller flat top hills. Buttes are small mesas. Okay. Pinnacles, sometimes called hoodoos. This is the picture here. This is Bryce Canyon in Utah. That's actually my son Zach walking along that trail there. These pinnacles are these really tall spires of rock that remain when a plateau has been eroded away. So at some point that was a solid plateau, and something came in and eroded it. Water from a flood, okay. And leaves these spires. Now, pinnacles are, I can't remember which is which, to be honest. Pinnacles or hoodoos, one is more upright like this, and one is more tapered. You'll have to Google it to remember which is which. These are hoodoos there, and they look somewhat tapered, so maybe those are the tapered ones. Then we've got these things called monadnocks. Monadnocks, I don't know, weird word, okay? And you can see a picture of one in the book on page 167. And it's basically a dome-shaped mountain that forms after a magma chamber. We haven't covered volcanoes yet, but inside of a volcano, there's a chamber where the magma collects, okay? Sometimes that hardens. There's no more magma cycling through it, so it actually cools off and it becomes solid rock under there. If the softer rock on the outside of it erodes away, what's left is kind of this dome-shaped mountain, and that's the monadnock landform there. Okay. We also get these things known as arches or natural bridges. Okay, this is also in Utah. I got to hike there several years ago. Yes, I took this picture also. I like the background here because you can see those nice level strata in the rock of the sediment there. This part of the rock is a little harder to explain. It almost looks like water. I can see this as sediment being laid down from water. Okay. But these arches and these natural bridges, a natural bridge is like a wider arch like that. They're a little harder to explain. They don't really fit the erosion, the slow erosion model or the flood model. But probably what happened is that water at some point was able to erode kind of a small opening on the bottom of this. And once you've got an opening, it erodes more and more and more. And then at some point, some of this rock above it probably collapsed out of the way and it left this arch. You can even see some of this, the strata within this arch that's left here, some of these stripes, okay? It's almost like this was more resilient than the surrounding area that got taken away, okay? So remember, in this great flood, stuff is moving a lot, and stuff's going to be set down, stuff's going to be picked back up. You know, the water is moving in and out, in and out. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, okay? All right, so in addition to the erosional landforms, we get landforms that are formed when the sediment is deposited. Those are known as depositional landforms. And there's a lot. You're probably going to need to pause this screen to get all the information down, okay? We get depositional mountains, which are just formed by the deposition of sediment, okay? There are wind-formed landforms. Sand dunes are the main one. This is a picture of sand dunes here, and basically it's these little hills of sand that are formed by wind depositing the sand in different places, okay? Then we get glacier formed, okay? We get a lot of different landforms formed by glaciers, okay? So when a glacier is formed, it's all this ice and snow. Sediment is kind of at the bottom of it. It kind of sinks to the bottom and it stays there. As a glacier is moving, that sediment is rubbing on other things. Okay, it almost acts like sandpaper. Glacial till is the name of all that sediment that's at the bottom. Sometimes that gets pushed out to the sides. Sometimes it gets pushed forward. Sometimes it causes all kinds of abrasion and it changes the landform as the glacier is moving. When that till is deposited, it forms all these different glacier-formed landforms. One is a moraine, and these are long, low ridges formed along the front and the edges of the glacier. Okay, so that till is kind of building up on the sides and in the front. We also get eskers, which is kind of a combo of the wind-formed and the glacier-formed. So wind can pick up some of the till that's left behind and deposit it in different areas. We have kames, which are just steep-sided piles of till, probably after the glacier moves or melts. And then drumlins, and these are long, low hills formed as the glacier drags over the till, okay? So the sediment is getting left behind as the glacier is moving. As the glacier melts away, it leaves all this stuff behind. You can see pictures of the moraine and the eskers and drumlins all on page 169 in your book, okay? I believe that's all I have for you today. Yep. See you later.